Booyah, folks. This is Coach Mac. This is the warning order for 25 October 2025, 1000 Central, white shirt test, stage one at Team Eagle One with me. It's going to be on Zoom. It's always interesting to do a test on Zoom. We do the best we can, but the fact is we've been able to help a lot more people. And oddly enough, since we started adding online testing as well as in-person testing, our 97% buds graduation rate turned into 100. So a lot of the changes we added by adding training online and different things, it made such a difference that the last couple of years we've had 100% buds graduation rate. The last 13 years we've had, or 14 years, we've had a 97% buds graduation rate and a 0% injury rate, rollback level injury rate, whether you got some scrapes or ouchies or stuff that makes you cry a little. Not super important to me. Rollback level injury rate. Well, why does this happen? Why does this happen? Because at Team Eagle One, we've broken down for almost 15 years, broken down every single aspect of what it takes to be in the top 10% to the top 1% of all these graduating classes. Any military program. Why? Because the program is designed to put you in the top 10% of your BUDS training class. Your BUDS training class. BUDS is not so arguably, actually, one of the most difficult physical training programs. I don't even know why, actually, because other programs are also very difficult, but BUDS tends to be the most difficult one. So if you can be in the top 10% at BUDS, you're going to be in the top few percent in almost any other program. It is for that reason that BUDS drops, performance drops. People who quit BUDS typically graduate from their other NSW programs. Even though they weren't prepared for BUDS, they were more than prepared enough for other programs. So the bottom line is whether you're EOD, whether you're search and rescue, whether you're SWCC, we've had Marine Corps officers, infantry officers, pararescue, all those things. This program was designed to put you in the top 10% of Naval Special Warfare BUDS training. I'm from class 146 myself, back in the 80s. This November will be my 40th year being on active duty in the SEAL team, training the active duty after I got out, and now training, working overseas for years in many different countries, and now training the candidates just like you. So tomorrow, so the question is, why our white shirt test? Why is the PST not doing what these shirt tests are doing for you? Very simply, the PST, I want you to think about your PST test. It's important. The PST is how you got your contract, right? That's why you're here. That's why you got your contract. Why you got your contract, why you're looking at getting somewhere at all, is the PST test. The PST test, even if you auto-qual it, has very little correlation with graduation, has no correlation with whether you get injured or not. The PST test, I want you to think about it like this. The PST test is designed to make sure that you're fit enough to not die in training, right? Some people still die, happens on occasion. I think a dozen or so people have died in training over the years, but for the most part, most people live, right? So the PST test, that's what it's designed for. Even if you auto-qual, that has very little to do with whether or not you graduate, whether or not you quit, whether or not you get injured. Our shirt tests, we have 3 levels of shirt tests. We have white shirts, brown shirts, and blue shirt tests. These are made by Chief Rob Roy and I some years ago, and we adjusted them over 100 BUDS candidates to make sure over 100 BUDS candidates and over hundreds of potential candidates who thought they were going to go to BUDS or thought they could. A lot of them were going to other services, things like that. It's not important right now. And what we did was we refined these tests until they actually meant something. So when you take these tests, I can tell you within a percent or two what your chances are of quitting, what your chances are of injury, what your chances are of graduating. Most importantly, they allowed us to design a program that creates graduates. If you follow our program, we have a 97% graduation rate in BUDS, a 0% rollback injury level in BUDS, and in the last 2 years, we have a 100% graduation rate in BUDS. Why? Because we break down every aspect of the program. Every aspect of the program. I'm not going to talk about the rest of that now. We'll do this later. This is all about the test tomorrow. So that's why our shirt test. This is the stage 1 shirt test. It is going to task you to pay attention and have a level of form and attention to range of your form and focus that you likely have never had before. Most candidates have never had this before. It is going to require you to have a sense of urgency, not burst for 10 reps and then quit, and then rest and burst for 10 reps, because there's no place in the SEAL teams for people who can work for 30 seconds and then they need to fall apart, right? There's no place for that. Sense of urgency, form, and range. By form, I mean, if I say push-ups, it is a full range. It is not, I do a full range for 2, and then all of a sudden I start doing push-ups like this. That will disqualify you. We video everything so we can go back and show you, here is what is going to take you out of your program and out of your game, right? Then we have consistent effort. Do you put out for 20 seconds and then you fall apart? And then there's 3 more seconds and then you fall apart. Our training program is designed to increase your focus on form and range, your sense of urgency, your consistent effort, and your form in all of life. Leadership by example. You will be a better leader by example, and you'll be a better leader of others by following this program. Tomorrow, this is all very important. Some of you may have taken a PST test with a mentor who's very strict and they're watching your form. Probably not, because they have a lot more to do. All I do is train the top 1 to 10% of candidates. That's what I do. I don't have the Navy to answer to. I don't have all the hassles that they have. So God love them for doing what they're doing, but they're not in the same game we are. So that's why the white shirt test, 25 October 2025 is the date, 1000 Central Time. I'm in Texas. This will be on Zoom. I'll send you the link. You need the location. Your location needs to be a 1 mile, which is also a 1600 meter, since tracks tend to be measured out in a mile, and 1600 on the marker. So you need your basic 400 or 440 track at any high school or college. You need to be able to do pull-ups as an option. You need somewhere to do pull-ups. I don't care if it's on a bar over the bleachers, that in the back of the bleachers, wherever. You just need somewhere you can do a legitimate pull-up. People use a tree branch that's out there. Just make sure. Scout your locations in advance, because we will not wait for you. This is a military program, and it runs like the military. In other words, when I say 1000, it means we start at 1000. We don't dick around waiting for you to get your sweatshirt off and all this stuff. You are ready to go at 1000, meaning you've tested your Zoom link, you're signed online, you're ready to go at 1000. Otherwise, you're just not going to go, right? It's a mission. It's a mission. You might start to see everything I do at Team Eagle One is for a reason. And that reason is you need to be an A+ player. Not an A player in some areas and then a C player in others and a B- player in others. I have no use for that in the field. I would rather have you be a consistent B+ player than A and C and D and B and all those other things. So our program develops that in candidates. So the location, 1 mile track with available pull-up option, someone to film you. I realize that this is a hassle, but the next 50 years, the dropout rate in BUD/S is over 90%. When you factor in prep and boot camp issues, all the people who never even make it to indoc and prep, all the people who never make it to day 1, the failure rate in BUD/S is over 90%. That means every program you think you're training on, 90% failure rate. Every program the Navy gives you, 90% failure rate, 90. This program has a 97% graduation rate over 13 to 14 years and 100% graduation rate in the last 2 years. Why am I telling you this? It doesn't cost you anything to take this test. It doesn't cost you anything to come to our Wednesdays. I do not make money on this program. I only charge money for the things that cost me money, and I don't charge for my time. This program costs me about $40,000 a year to keep running for all of you. So I only charge for things like the app and things because that costs me a couple thousand a month to keep it together. Anyway, enough about that. Uniform. So 1 mile track, available pull-up area. There's some other calisthenics in this test, but that's okay. There is no water. There is no swimming. We have a separate white shirt stage 1 test for water, right? Needs its own test. The land tests are the place we start because you are far more likely to be taken out of your program by land work and your inability to focus and function and be strong enough and endurable enough, then you are to be taken out by the water. Right? That's just the statistics. Uniform of the day. If you have it, boots, brown or black, military boots, cami pants. In this case, we usually, when we train in person in Eagle One, we all have the same color or type of camouflage on. In this case, any type of cami pants, military boots. If you have it, do not go buy this tonight. Do not go buy all this stuff tonight. If you have it, wear it. And a white t-shirt with no printing, no writing, none of your old school Def Leppard stuff, none of your political messages, white t-shirt. This is a military training program, and a black belt, white t-shirt, cami pants, and military boots. This means at 1000, we don't show up still in our little sweatshirt, still in our cool guy jacket, whatever you have. This means at 1000, when I start the Zoom class, you are in uniform. If you do not have an actual uniform, which is totally fine, very few people start in a uniform unless they happen to have one. You'll be wearing a t-shirt, not a tank top up here. White t-shirt, not a tank top. You'll be wearing running shoes and an appropriate type of shorts. This does not mean you little nut huggers, the crap you wear to the pool where your butt is hanging out like a plumber. None of that crap, right? I'm old. I don't need the therapy of seeing all of you run around with your private parts hanging out. So none of that, right? So that's it right there. 1 mile track, pull up. You want to be signed on by 0945 testing your Zoom link, right? You want to have the person filming you, because when we do the calisthenic exercises, you need to be on camera, because we're going to go over form. I'm going to help you understand why what you're doing works or doesn't work, how to make it work better, and why it makes a difference as a teammate, right? If I could explain to you how the gym workouts and biomechanics and calisthenics make a difference to what type of teammate you are and how your head works. I teach the neuroscience of leadership, positivity, negativity, depression, high performance. I've been doing it for, God, I'm on my 40th year right now of being on active duty, training active duty, working overseas in 20 different countries, and now for 12 or 13 or 14 years, training candidates, right? So this November makes my 40th year. I'm a geek about it. So I want to break this down. It is my belief that 60% of the failures in NSW wouldn't fail if they weren't doing their own programs, their soccer coaches' programs, the programs the Navy gives them that has a 90% failure rate for other candidates. That's insane to follow a program with that level of failure rate. The Navy does what they do better than anyone. They do BUD/S training better than anyone. You'll notice we don't skydive, we don't scuba dive, we don't teach shooting. We teach you how to go through any program physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When I say spiritually, I mean we will train you to be a better teammate and offer more value to your team than you ever thought possible. People will notice your leadership by example and your ability to help other people by your example and by direct helping them. I want to get this video done in less than 15 minutes. So to recap, tomorrow, I want you to think about this. If you think you get 80 push-ups, but at number 4, you start doing half push-ups, you have 4. I have no use in the field for someone who falls apart and thinks only about when they get home, only about that they have 10 more miles to go, only about that they have 50 more repetitions to go. I need one perfect rep and another perfect rep and another perfect rep. I don't need to get to 10 by any means necessary. I need perfect reps. Full range, we're going to go over it tomorrow. Perfect form, sense of urgency. In other words, this is so important to me. Do not hold back. You might have heard some mentors. Again, I teach neuroscience. I teach how your brain actually works in psychology, biology, and high performance sports. High performance sports. I've been training professional and high level amateur athletes for decades. If you hold back in an evolution, thinking I need to conserve energy, If I hold back on the swim in the PST, my run won't be my personal best potential. Your brain doesn't work that way. Once you start to hold back, you will continue to hold back for hours. That's how your brain works. So when you hear mentors, they mean so well, but they just don't have the education level. And they'll say, hey, your swim is pretty good. Your run needs help. Hold back on the swim because you're going to make it, and then pick it up on the run. A brain doesn't work that way. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to just try it. Don't believe me. Just try it, right? Don't believe me. Just try it. So 1000 tomorrow. Sign up at nswpipeline.com and you get the link for the Zoom class. Some of you have emailed me already. I'm going to send you a video link to this, but this is tomorrow. I want you to put out in every evolution. Don't worry about what's next. I don't care whether you pass the test tomorrow. I care whether you focus on 1, 2, 3, and 4 as best you can. And then we're going to make a program that sets you up to focus even better on 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you'll be stronger and more endurable inside and out. Again, I don't leave any of your career choices to chance. None. It's the next 50 years that you're entrusting me with, and I'm depending on you to follow the plan. Now, if those of you decide to stick with Eagle One, let me warn you, this is not I do this part that my soccer coach said instead of what Coach Mack said. I train the top 1% to 10%. That's it. That's what I'm training you for. I don't care if you have great information that used to work for you in soccer. I'm not correcting another mentor when I tell you what to do. I'm saying this is the way we've created a 100% graduation rate. Almost every single one of our candidates is chosen for a leadership position in boot camp. They don't try for it. They just are that different. They're that different. You will stand out. You will stand out. So if you decide to come to this program, you're welcome to come tomorrow and Wednesdays, no matter what. But if you decide to train with me, it means you follow the program. No bullshit. No bullshit. Because I don't train bullshit. It's the top 1 to 10%. If that's where you want to be, everyone who's in the top 1 to 10% graduated. So I don't care what makes you graduate. I care what makes you the top 10%. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Hoo-yah, 1000, nswpipeline.com. Sign up, and you can send me an email at 5326coach@gmail.com. 5326coach@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link. All right, it's a long video, I know. Watch it as much as you need it, but I'm telling you, if the next 50 years of your career choices depends on what you do this week and what you do every single day. I wouldn't ever trust it to a program with a 90% failure rate. Hoo-yah.